Hi there guys, this is Richard, your host, with another marvelous video. This time, it's 13 mind-bending, criminally underrated horror anime explored. There's no limit to what can be accomplished when artists are given the liberty to explore their darkest imagination. A good horror anime delivers a disturbing and dark story that intrigues you right until the end. Animes have a bit of an advantage over live-action movies, as it allows artists to push their imagination to extremes. The mainstream animes often overshadow the underrated gems of the niche genre. These animes might not be as popular as Death Note, but it doesn't make them any less fascinating. These underrated horror animes are not only full of gore and violence, but they also make you question your understanding of the human psyche. Let's discuss the 13 mind-bending, criminally underrated horror animes and what makes them so bewitchingly disturbing.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Ghost Hunt 2006. Mai Taniyama, a first-year high school student, starts working with the Shibuya Psychic Research (SPR). Mai displays potent psychic abilities. Her dreams often lead to new information regarding the cases they're working on. She befriends Kazuya Shibuya, the young manager of SPR. She even nicknames him Naru to taunt his narcissistic nature. The nickname becomes popular amongst others working for the SPR. The diverse team consisted of a former Buddhist monk, Hushu Takigawa, the self-styled shrine maiden, Ayako Matsuzaki, celebrity psychic medium Masako Hara, and a teen Catholic priest, John Brown. The anime dives into the psychic abilities of the main characters. Mai is not alone in her dreams. She believes that Naru joins her subconscious as her spirit guide. The mysterious presence in her dreams is later revealed to be someone else. The manga, written by Fuyumi Ono, revolves around the psychics working for SPR. They use their abilities to investigate mysterious occurrences all over Japan. The horror anime consists of 8 stories of varying lengths, spread across 1 to 4 episodes each. The team often gets involved in investigating haunted sites. The storyline suspense will have you hooked. Before you know it, you may end up binging on all 25 episodes. This anime truly deserves a bigger audience. The supernatural horror is a blend of mythology and magic. In the 4th episode, the team investigates a mansion where the culprit turns out to be a creepy doll. The doll was a vessel for the evil, endangering the lives of those staying in the house. The series is filled with such haunted encounters. Do add this underrated horror anime to your watch list. Shiki. The anime opens with the villagers searching for Megumi. She is found lying unconscious in the woods. In the flashback, we learn that Megumi desired a better life than the one her town offered. She had an unrequited crush on one of her classmates, Natsuno Yuki, and was fascinated by the European-style castle in the outskirts of town. Meanwhile, someone had been vandalizing Buddha temples and the priests would turn up dead and dismembered. The Kashiki family becomes the talk of the town after they move into the castle in the middle of the night. Curious about the new family, Megumi hikes towards the castle. Her family begins to worry when she doesn't return home after 9 p.m. A search party finds her unconscious in the woods. The town doctor, Toshio Ozaki, examines her and suspects that she fainted due to anemia. He suggests a blood test to confirm his theory. He is devastated on learning that Megumi had passed away in the middle of the night. He suggests an autopsy to know the cause of her death, but Megumi's father refuses the request. Megumi's blood tests reveal that she died of an uncommon anemia. Eventually, more people around the town crop up with similar symptoms of drowsiness and fatigue before succumbing to their death. Toshio believes that it is an outbreak of an epidemic, as he can't figure out the reason behind the sudden deaths. It is made known that Megumi had a tendency to stalk Natsuno. Even after her death, Natsuno felt like someone was watching him. Unable to fall asleep in his own house, he sleeps over at Toru's place. Natsuno begins to notice Megumi following wherever he goes, and is paralyzed by fear on seeing Megumi attacking Toru in his sleep. Ryu Fujisaka adapted Fuyumi Ono's novel Shiki into a manga by the same name. The anime doesn't reveal the vampires right away. It takes its time to build up the suspense, and the vampires are revealed after the first couple of episodes. Shiki doesn't portray the vampires as one-dimensional monsters who kill for the thrill of it. They also explore the need of the vampires to feed on human blood to survive. They don't necessarily enjoy feeding on humans. Even though their actions are not justified, the story makes you understand the perspective of the vampires. The tale delves deep into the moral compass of the characters, as well as the viewers. It should be considered a crime to miss out on an anime like Shiki. The story and its characters are well developed. It's packed with action and horror. More importantly, the anime makes you question your own standards of morality. Seoul Station, 2016. An injured homeless man passes out near Seoul Station. A fellow squatter tries to help him but ends up witnessing him eat a body in an alley. Hae-sun is a former sex worker who has escaped her life in a brothel. She ends up living with her boyfriend Ki-woong, who plans on forcing her back into her previous profession for money. After a heated argument, they part ways but get caught up in the middle of the zombie apocalypse. Meanwhile, Suk-gi-yu searches for Hae-sun. He claims to be a father, desperately looking for his runaway daughter. Hae-sun turns up at a police station with other survivors only to find that one of the officers has been infected. Suk-gyu and Ki-woong try to reunite with Hae-sun. They end up at her apartment and find that the landlady too was infected. Hae-sun and Ki-woong plan to reunite at the hospital, unaware that it had already been taken over by zombies. They barely manage to escape the army of the infected. They go inside a barricade and join other survivors. It turns out to be a quarantine trap set up by the riot police. The military arrive to take control of the situation and the survivors begin to succumb to the infection. Hae-sun escapes the barricade but gets scratched on her foot by a zombie. The infection begins to slowly spread through her body. The animated movie Seoul Station is the prequel to Train to Busan. The movie explores how the infection spreads before the events of the sequel. The storylines of the two movies do not intersect. Both of them are survivor zombie movies, with the father-daughter relationship as the central conflict. The dark twist at the end makes one wonder if humans are worse than flesh-eating zombies. Seoul Station is also a social commentary on how the public can no longer rely on the authorities. The Korean animated zombie horror movie didn't receive the same traction as Train to Busan. It would be unfair to compare the two, but Seoul Station deserves a cult following too. The darkness of the central characters holds your attention as they try to fight off the zombies. Yeon Sang-ho has directed Train to Busan and the animated prequel Seoul Station. The zombies are bound to give you nightmares for weeks. If you're a fan of animated horror, you should definitely add this movie to your list. Devilman Lady, 1998. Supermodel Jun Fyu-do is at the top of her game, but things change after she gets attacked by a monster. The accident triggers her inner devil awake. She fights to hold on to her humanity and takes up a job at a secret government agency to protect the world from monsters. Jun Fyu-do fights monsters that are similar to her. She turns into the devil beast while beating a werewolf-like creature and reverts back to her human form. Others wonder how long Jun Fyu-do would be able to hold on to her humanity before completely transforming into the devil beast. In the beginning, she's portrayed as an introvert who opens up to select people. Lan Asuka brings her to work for the secret government agency. She obeys Asuka, no questions asked. Eventually, she becomes more independent and confident as the show progresses. Devilman Lady manga by Go Nagai is the sequel to Devilman. In its 26 episodes, the show focuses on the downward spiral of Jun Fyu-do. After her devil beast curse is triggered, her friendship with Kazumi begins to go downhill. While working for Lan Azura, Jun Fyu-do often finds herself in a supernatural battle with her colleagues. Some of the monsters also resort to hiding under the disguise of the people she once worked with. The battle sequences between Jun and the other monsters are filled with blood and gory violence. This underrated horror anime has a complex plot that keeps you on edge. There are moments when the show seems predictable, but the suspense build-up always makes up for it. The anime is a compelling mix of horror, action, and drama. We would highly recommend a series marathon to fans. Paprika, 2006. Set in the dystopian future, the invention of DC Mini allows the users to enter others' dreams. Dr. Atsuko Chiba sells the product to psychiatrists before the product is fully developed. She intends for them to use the device to help their patients by watching their dreams. Atsuko Chiba dons the identity of Paprika to sell the product to other psychiatrists. Detective Toshimi Konakawa visits Paprika for a consultation about a recurring dream. When the unfinished prototypes of DC Mini get stolen, it poses a great threat to privacy as there are no restrictions while entering another person's dream.
Means that whoever stole the DC Mini can connect to a psychotherapy machine anytime from any place they...
Evidence suggests it was an inside job. Paprika tries to control the damage by going after the culprits, endangering her own life. The nightmare begins once the dream world starts to leak into the real world. When someone gets attacked in the dream world, they die in the real world. The 2010 movie Inception was inspired by the animated horror Paprika. The science fiction psychological thriller was adapted from Yasutaka Tsutsui's novel of the same name. The plot of Paprika is engaging enough to keep you biting your nails throughout. The dreamception nightmare makes one question the hold of dreams over our reality. Paprika's plot progresses as crazy and confusing in a good way. After the DC Mini gets stolen, the scientists who developed the technology worry about it ending up in the wrong hands. As evil begins to control the dream technology, Paprika has to get creative in an attempt to defeat it. Paprika doesn't disappoint the fans of science fiction horror genre. This anime deserves to be at the top of your what to watch next list. Higurashi, When They Cry, 2006. Keiichi Maebara moves to the quiet village of Hinamizawa in the summer of 1983. He befriends Rina Ryugu, Mion Sonozaki, and other classmates. They quickly become inseparable. What appears to be a seemingly idyllic life is soon interrupted by the darkness lurking underneath. Keiichi learns about the local legends as the village prepares for the annual festival. Keiichi makes an unsettling discovery about this annual festival. Over the years, several murders and disappearances coincide with the village festival. He suspects something sinister to be related to the village patron god, Oyashiro. Keiichi receives silent treatment when he asks his new friends about his suspicions. The bizarre events continue to occur, making Keiichi question if his friends can be trusted. The paranoia and madness begin to affect Keiichi. Higurashi, When They Cry is the animated adaptation of Ryu Kishi's visual novel series. The anime consists of 50 episodes, of which the last 24 episodes explore answers to the mysterious occurrences in the village. For a long time, the show keeps you guessing if the events are indeed supernatural or explainable by science. The story may give you the impression that Higurashi could be a children's show, but there's way too much violence for it to be considered appropriate for that age group. At first, the village is supposedly a peaceful one. However, as the story progresses, it makes you feel isolated and suffocated. Keiichi quickly becomes friends with the kids in the village, but he starts to doubt them as they seem connected to the disappearances over town. The story of Higurashi, When They Cry is dark and captivating. If you're in search of something mysterious, scary, and bloody to watch, Higurashi, When They Cry is the perfect anime. Pet Shop of Horror, 1999. Homicide detective Leon Orchid suspects Count de Souza's pet shop to be a criminal hotspot. A lot of mysterious deaths were connected to the mysterious pet shop. Count D is the caretaker of a pet shop in Chinatown, Los Angeles. The pets are odd-looking humanoid hybrids. There are conditions for buying the pets, as all of them come with a non-disclosure agreement. The pet owners aren't allowed to show the animals to anyone. The shop claims no liability of the aftermath of when the pets go berserk. The episodes explore the consequences faced by the buyers of Count D's pet shop. Detective Leon Orchid arrives at the shop, surmising it to be the front for drug trafficking.
This shop's a cover for drug dealing, white slavery, and armed...
Eventually, the detective and Count D develop a strange friendship. The detective continues to uncover the truth behind the mysterious deaths and learns more about the pet shop and Count D. Pet Shop of Horrors is an adaptation of the manga by Matsuri Akino. The anime takes a darker route than its manga counterpart. Each episode tells a different story, all of them revolving around an exotic pet shop and its mysterious owner. Each customer has to sign a contract depending on the pet they buy, and breach of the contract can lead to disastrous circumstances. The customers seek companionship from their pets, but their passion often leads them to breach the terms of the contract. With only 4 episodes, the anime packs in enough horror elements to reconsider your plans for adopting a pet. The pets in Count D's shop often resemble the face of someone the customers have lost. The 4-episode anime deserved a better reception. The storyline explores the grief of losing someone. It shows the extreme steps one can take to be reunited with their loved ones. Requiem from the Darkness, 2003. Talisman vendor Mataichi saves the life of a young Yamaoka Momosuke in a torrential downpour. Unable to forget Mataichi, Momosuke searches for him in the dark rain. Momosuke returns to Ikoyama, but cannot get this supernatural savior Mataichi out of his head. Yamaoke Momosuke gets bored of writing riddles for children. He then reunites with Mataichi. A dark and mysterious mountain lures him in with the temptation of finding a collection of horror stories. He sets out on a journey to recover the mysterious book with 100 horror stories. He plans to publish the gruesome stories in an anthology called Hayako Monogatari. Momosuke comes across the Ongyu while researching the myths and legends. The Ongyu introduce themselves as detectives who investigate legends and uncover their truth. They want to bring justice to those who are in the wrong. Also, Momosuke begins to see things he shouldn't be seeing. He has to battle with his morals and face horrible truths every time he meets the Ongyu. Requiem from the Darkness is based on the short story collection by Natsuhiko Kyogoku. The story revolves around Momosuke, who struggles with his conscience, taking the audience's mind to the deepest and darkest corners. All the unlucky 13 episodes are dark in nature. The stories are filled with brutal violence, and the mysterious Ongyu keeps you hooked till the end. The Ongyu trio can be cruel in the treatment of their victims. Their methods can torture one mentally as well as physically. Their mission is to erase the wicked out of the humans. There is no mindless violence in the anime, thus all the limb-impaling violence is justified as punishment for the sins committed by human beings. Requiem from the Darkness should be watched for its compelling storyline and frightful elements, which play tricks with your mind.
Into the darkness, Shinmon!
Vampire Princess Miyu, 1997. The earth is filled with cold-blooded shape-shifting monsters like the evil Shinma. They roam around with the mission of unleashing their darkness onto humans. Miyu, who appears to be 14 years old, is the chosen one to fight the darkness.
Into the darkness, Shinma!
Vampire Princess Miyu is much older than she looks. Trapped between the two worlds, she must rid the planet of the evil Shinmas. Miyu has the power to offer eternal happiness to humans, however, she herself is destined for a solitary life. Lava, a former evil Shinma, is her only companion and guardian. They accompany each other on their journey of understanding the weak human heart and cope with the loss of innocence. Miyu often finds herself to be the huntress as well as the hunted and is often conflicted between duty and doing the right thing. The story of Vampire Princess Miyu takes a creepy and disturbing turn at times. They build up a mystery without revealing too much too soon. Miyu is introduced with the tunnel vision of eliminating the Shinmas. She doesn't bother getting close to the people. She enrolls herself in a school under the name of Yamamano. She focuses on her role as a guardian for the weak and innocent. As the show progresses, she becomes more open towards her human emotions in addition to accepting the humans around her. The supernatural horror elements are heavily inspired by Japanese mythology. The storyline is highly unpredictable. Even the main characters are not safe from impending death. Miyu can also be considered an anti-hero in the sense that her objective has rarely ever been to ensure the safety of the people. She would let someone die, even though she could have saved them. She's driven by her task of killing the Shinmas, even though not all of them are evil. Miyu is surprisingly dark for a 14-year-old protagonist. This anime should be watched for its dark and twisted characters. The anime leaves you feeling haunted and questioning your own ethical code. The Laughing Target, 1987. Yuzura Shiga is one of the last remaining descendants of the Shiga clan. At the age of 6, his marriage is fixed with his cousin Azusa to preserve the family legacy. A decade later, Azusa's mother passes away. She moves in with Yuzuro's family and intends to fulfill the promise of marrying him. Yuzuru, on the other hand, never paid much heed to the promise. He focuses on his life as a high school student and is the captain of the archery club. He's very much in love with his girlfriend, Satomi. Azusa, meanwhile, had not even as much as glanced at another boy all her life. She begins to view Satomi as an obstacle to her relationship with Yuzuro. Azusa tries to scare Satomi out of her way, but it ends up driving Yuzuro further away. Yuzuro is unaware that a tragic incident has triggered Azusa's family curse, which turns her into a demon. She begins to stalk Satomi, hoping to permanently get her out of the way. She keeps attacking Satomi in hopes of reclaiming Yuzuro as her own. Laughing Target is the OVA adaptation of the manga by Rumiko Takahashi. The story slowly develops into a chilling tale of Azusa haunting Satomi. Azusa is introduced as the mysterious cousin who has grown up into a beautiful woman. The severity of Azusa's threats keeps increasing with time. The horror elements are infused with traditional Japanese culture. Initially, you feel that Azusa's actions are redeemable. You even find yourself rooting for her a little. But the opinion changes quickly as she continues to attack Satomi. Azusa unleashes the demon inside her to put Satomi away for good. Not a lot of character development can occur in 90 minutes, but the major leads in Laughing Target are well fleshed out. You may not agree with the approach adopted by Azusa, but when her backstory unfolds, you understand why she acts the way she does. The subtitle version is far superior to the dubbed version. It lets you enjoy the horror in its authentic form. The Laughing Target is a worthy watch for its evil and compelling story. You know something is worth watching when it makes you sympathize with the villain. Ushio and Tora. 2015. Middle school student Ushio Atsuki ends up in a secret cellar while cleaning his family's Shinto temple. He finds a dangerous yokai trapped in the cellar. The yokai was pinned by the Beast Spear, a legendary weapon known for over 500 years. The yokai attracts other supernatural creatures into the cellar. Ushio names the yokai Tora and frees him to defeat the monsters attacking them. Tora wants to devour Ushio, but the Beast Spear prevents him from doing so. Tora begins to haunt Ushio, hoping for an opportunity to eat him. But being in possession of the spear seems to attract an unnatural amount of trouble. Tora unwillingly defends Ushio against supernatural creatures. Things are about to get a lot worse as Harumin no Mono awakens from his extended slumber. He is an incredibly powerful yokai who thrives on destruction. Ushio and Tora is filled with monsters and spirits from Japanese mythology. Ushio's serious attitude and Tora's sense of humor complement each other. The storyline balances out the tragic moments with lighter ones. The story picks up pace in the later episodes. We get to know the mysteries of the yokai world. It adds to the tension of the world of the humans and yokai collapsing. The fight scenes in the anime really are something to look forward to. The anime takes its time to develop and flesh out the characters, making it easier to understand them better. The series starts with the duo fighting a new monster in each episode. In the latter half, the danger begins to intensify. Fans of action-driven anime shouldn't miss out on this show. Overall, the series is well crafted and a shame to miss out on. Devilman, 1987. A legion of divine creatures descends on Earth during the Cretaceous era to annihilate the demon race from ruining God's land. A violent ambush breaks out between the angels and demons. Satan sends the entire demon race into hibernation for thousands of years. In present-day Japan, Akira Fudo looks after rabbits in his high school. Under mysterious circumstances, all the rabbits but one ends up dead. He tries to comfort the rabbit while Masa and his gang arrive at the scene. They demand Akira to surrender the rabbit, but Akira refuses to give in to their orders.
Look, I can't let you have him.
Manjiro starts to beat up Akira, but the gang departs after Miki enters the scene. Miki helps Akira clean up, and they head towards her home. Ryo Asuka interrupts their plans and tells Akira to come to his place urgently. Akira learns that his father is no more, and he asks to wear a demonic mask.
It's your turn to wear the demon skull.
No.
After wearing the mask, Akira is sickened by disturbing visions. He gets to know about the origins of the demon race. Multiple demons appear and begin to attack Akira and Ryo. They manage to escape the attacks. Ryo informs Akira that the only way to defeat the demons is to become one of them.
You must become one with a demon. Understand?
They need to perform the Black Sabbath to turn Akira into the Devilman. They arrive at the underground fallout shelter to perform the ritual and find the place filled with people partying to loud music. Ryo stabs the members with a broken bottle. Slowly they begin to transform into demons. One of the guests turns out to be the she-demon, Welvath. Akira transforms into the Devilman, with his pure soul enabling him to dominate the demons. He defeats Welvath by ripping her apart. Akira falls into a trance as he beats up the other demons. After regaining his senses, he notices Ryo is lying unconscious after being beaten by a demon. Akira finds himself alone, surrounded by blood. Devilman The Birth is adapted from the manga Devilman. If you've watched Devilman Crybaby on Netflix, chances are you're already searching for the dubbed version of Devilman The Birth. The OVA is a mix of biblical mythology and action. They take the time to develop the plot and characters, but the last 15 minutes make up for the slow pacing. Akira transforms from being the innocent kid who gets bullied for protecting rabbits to a beast beast by the name of Devilman who kills other demons. In 1987, it wasn't common for the audience to root for a demon, and yet they pulled it off. Recently, anti-heroes have been dominating our screens. While Akira is the sweet, well-to-do boy, his friend Ryo is quite the opposite. Miki is the love interest of Akira. He hasn't had the chance to confess his feelings to her, and then there are the demons who pack in quite the scare. The battle scenes between Akira and the demons are quite violent and gory. If you're looking for a worthy anti-hero to cheer for, look no further than Devilman: The Birth. Corpse Party, Tortured Souls, 2013. Math Suzumoto is going to transfer to another school. Her friends from Kisaraki Academy perform a friendship ritual called Sachiko, Ever After, to bid her farewell. An earthquake hits the school and the students get transported to the cursed Heavenly Host Elementary School after completing the ritual. Naomi and Seiko find each other after the chaos and search for an exit. All the doors and windows of the school are sealed shut. Naomi and Seiko take shelter in the infirmary. Seiko notices she has lost her paper charm slip and leaves in search of it. Meanwhile, Naomi is left alone. A ghost appears and attacks Naomi, and she barely manages to escape alive. Naomi rains down on Seiko for leaving her alone, and they part ways. After calming down for a bit, Naomi looks for Seiko to apologize to her. She finds Seiko's corpse hanging in the bathroom stall. It is revealed that Heavenly Host was the site of the tragedy, where the school teacher, Yoshikazu Yana Hihori, allegedly cut off the tongues of 4 children. The remaining students continue to get attacked by the ghost of the victims. Corpse Party, Tortured Souls is a 4-episode anime based on the video game Corpse Party. The story gets condensed and altered in the OVA. The fans of the video game might be disappointed with the adaptation, but when you treat it like a standalone series, the storyline is quite cynical and gripping. Almost half of the main characters end up dead and erased from the memory of the rest. The storyline gets more alarming as the series progresses. The characters are relatable, one way or another. You might not get any jump scares while watching the anime, but it does leave you with an eerie and creepy feeling. The anime consists of a disturbing amount of gore and deaths for a series where the protagonists are teenagers. This anime should be watched because of the shocking twists and spellbinding plot. Overall, the anime is intense and scary, and most definitely recommended.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.